All right, hi everybody. Welcome back to school. I hope you had a restful break. I'm just trying. I'm gonna try to give you everyone helpful hints on how to do this assignment. So the first thing you want to do is either you click here to watch the video, or you could click on the link here that takes you to YouTube to watch the video as well on a bigger screen. Okay, and what you want to look for is ask yourself as you watch the video, what is a parabola? Okay, what is a vertex? And then how do you know if the vertex is a maximum or minimum? Okay, does the vertex open upward or does it open downward? All right, and also how to locate this axis of symmetry. What are the x-intercept? And then what is the y-intercept? Okay, and you're going to have to do this for each of these equations. So if you count them, I believe there's 10 of them that you have to do it for. And the reason we want you to practice is because we need you to practice how to type this in, because you're going to be using a lot of graphing calculator this semester. So you'll need to learn how to type this in accurately. Okay, so notice that this is a skill that we want you to master. That way, when you take IM3, you're going to graph other functions, and you have to also talk about the attributes. Okay, and that's something you'll discuss in IM3. And we do this by practicing with the quadratic function, which is a neat function. So here's a student exemplar. Okay, so notice that you could tell that this student did not watch the video and did not pay attention. How do we know that? Well, once they type this in, look at their graph. You have to ask yourself, does this graph look like a U shape or like an upside down U shape? No, it does not. Notice it's a line. This is a linear function. Folks, we are no longer IM1 students. We are now IM2 students. This is not a quadratic function. You could tell that the student was not paying attention. So notice that the student right here, they put a 2 here where I'm highlighting, but that's called a subscript. That's something you do in Mr. Banks' class in chemistry. This is not chemistry. This is mathematics, right? We don't want a subscript, what we want is a superscript, or as we call it in math, an exponent. Okay, so what I'm going to do is delete that. Okay, so if I want a square, an exponent, what I do is I go to the keypad and see where it says a squared right here. So it's x, y, and then a squared. You click a squared, and then look, it has a square. Now, notice that it has a U shape. That's how I know if I did this correctly. Okay, so this student here did not watch the video. Now that it has a U shape, I could locate all my points that I was talking about over here, right? In the beginning, my x-intercepts cross the x-axis. So notice I have two x-intercepts. That's the first time we've seen that in a while, right? Two x-intercepts. Let me zoom in a bit. So we have two x-intercepts. We have a y-intercept, and I could tell that's the y-intercept because it crosses the y-axis right here, if you see my cursor going up and down. And then we also have the vertex, okay? And notice that this vertex, I know it's a minimum because it's the lowest point on the curve. So if I go like this with my mouse here, with my cursor, notice it's the lowest point right here. That's how I know it's a minimum, okay? And then you could also tell the student didn't pay attention because look how they answered the questions here. Notice that this student put downward, but if you look at the curve that we drew, notice it goes upward. See, that's how I know the student did not watch the video. Okay? All right. So let's look at a student that watched the video but just needs a little help, right? So let's see how I do this here. Alrighty. So notice that this student did pay attention to the video because notice how they typed it in, and also notice how they put y equals. That's how I know they were paying attention. They put y equals because that's how it looks like right here. Right, they're following directions, and notice it has the curve like this. So then if I go to the response, we're just going to try to improve these responses the best we can. So notice that the student put that it goes upward. Okay, if you check, here, it does go upward. Okay. All right. Now, the axis of symmetry. Okay. If you remember the Khan video, Mr. Khan says that this axis of symmetry goes through the vertex. Okay, goes through the vertex. And notice that this person put the vertex as 1, comma, -9. And if we check over here, notice that it's 1, comma, -9. But let's see if this equation graphs the vertex, the axis of symmetry going through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. And here's how you could always check if your axis of symmetry is correct. You go over here, you paste it, and it draws an actual line, and it has to cut it in the middle. So pause the video for a moment and look at it. Does it cut this U shape in the middle? As you're thinking about it, I hope you said no, it does not. Look, so if I have the vertex, notice it does not go through the vertex. So Mr. Khan said that right here, you know the x value, see how it's 1? Your axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Notice it goes right there through it. So this will be the correct answer. So if this was so this student just needs a little help. So I'm just going to put here for the student x equals 1. That's how you could check whether you have the axis of symmetry correct. You could plot it right here and see if it cuts through the quadratic function. Okay, just like that. All right. So then if you keep going here, does the function have a minimum or a maximum, right? So it's right here, a maximum or a minimum. Notice this student did put a minimum, right? Okay, and then they put because, and this really doesn't quite make sense. So what I'm gonna do is put this, okay, because, and notice how I said in the beginning of the video that the vertex, because that's your minimum, right? The vertex is the lowest point of the function. Okay, and if it was a maximum, then it'll be the highest point of the function. Okay, so this student just needed a little help here and here. And notice that the student right here put the y-intercept 0, comma, -8. Notice it's a coordinate, written in coordinate form. Boom. I go over here and notice that does it hit at -0, comma, -8, and it does. And then I go over here and see whether the x-intercepts are these here, and if I go back and check, that is also true, see? So this is how I know that the student did watch the video. They just need a little help with this section here and here. And that's the biggest misconceptions I have seen, okay? So don't be like that other student that did not watch the video and just answering random stuff in there. You got to write it correctly, and that's the whole point of this exercise. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you next time.